Okay, good morning everybody. This is Marius Landman from Brisbane, Australia. It's now 8:30 in the morning and it's 16 August 2019 in Australia, and it's 15 August in America. So today I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through charts, and I think it's very pertinent that we probably answer a lot of questions because I think there's a lot of questions that people have, and we can probably get a little bit more value out of that. But let's quickly just get through Litecoin here at this moment. You can see that this purple line, this dark purple line, or maybe a dark blue line, that line is the algorithm data in some modular form that we draw, because the data kicks us out a complex set of rules with regard to price action, and that will give us the play. Now, we are not always 100% correct. Like somebody emailed me the other day, like if you look at this point here, that point there says that is about $96 to $95 of Litecoin. And then Litecoin only went up to $90. So we were $5 or $6 out. So guys, we can't be 100% correct. I can't tell you that Litecoin will definitely go to $96.25 and then it's going to drop down to a certain level lower. Sorry guys, I'm just going to mute everybody again. So we can't be 100% correct. Number one, keep in mind the work that we do and my team, we don't do day trading. I'm interested in the trend to go from here to that high point there, wherever the high point is, to go down to a low point and then ultimately take advantage of 1,000% move. That's what I'm interested in. Day trading, you will lose your butt. I tell you now, guys, not many people make money in day trading. Not the masses. 1 out of 1,000 people may be very good in day trading, but overall you'll find that you will not beat the system, because the system is designed to take the day trader out and to take their money. Now let's have a look at this. You know, Litecoin went up to this point, went sideways up to this high point here of 108, and now you can see this drop here down to this point. I believe that this drop is going to go a little bit lower. I don't believe this is the low point. That just doesn't look to me like the low point when you get an ABC correction. Now from there onwards, now most of you know that I've set my orders, anything under $60 it will get triggered, and a lot, thousands of Litecoins. You know, because this thing, if this goes under $60 here and you buy that Litecoin, the next move, guys, I'll tell you now, the next move, it's gonna go up here round about to 120. If it only hits this level here of 115, that's fine as well. But it must go higher than this level before then drops, goes sideways, and then it's gonna go up one more time into this level here according to our data. Our algorithm data says that there's a fake breakout. And in this fake breakout, people buy. They buy, and then the market drops, and then everybody sells. And they say, oh no, we thought that Litecoin is going to go up, but it's not. People sell. There's a big sell here, big. And then suddenly, once everybody has sold and they're exhausted, you're going to see Litecoin go up 1,000%. This is according to my data. Now, if we are correct with this, this will be one massive call in the entire world. Now, you guys know that about 2 months ago, 2 months, well, probably more than that, that we came out and said that there's a coin that's going to go up 1,000%, and then we didn't know what coin it was, and then we discovered there are 5 coins that can potentially go up. So for the new people, if you go and download this report, it's in the in your members area. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. It's free. 24 July 2019. If you scroll right down to the bottom here, you'll see there's a portfolio here. We talk about the top 5 coins that you must hold. It's Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Digibyte, Bitcoin Cash. Those 5, probably in order of importance. Ethereum is going to break out first. Litecoin is very important to hold. Probably Ethereum and Litecoin, you can put them on the same pedestal. Look at Litecoin. You know, we predict Litecoin to go to $3,000 by 24 December 2019. this year. Okay, I wouldn't state that publicly, because if Litecoin only reaches $2,900, then people will again say, oh, failed call. So guys, $100 here, maybe $500 here or there, maybe $1,000, doesn't matter. But I see in our data a $3,000 level for Litecoin. Crazy stuff. By end of cycle, I'm actually bringing that forward, and I'm saying that can be 24 December. Nice Christmas gift. And when you're in Australia, that could be about 4,500 Australian dollars. Huge money. XRP and Digibyte. Then don't disregard Bitcoin. There could be, and I'm just going to get into this quickly now, guys. There could be a probability. Now, I want you to clearly listen to this. There could be a probability that Bitcoin goes up to 80,000 and then to $350,000, while most of the altcoins don't even move. So I want you to understand this, we're really going to look at moving some of your money into Bitcoin. And these 5 coins are coins that now exclude. Remember when I say that some of the altcoins won't move? These 5 coins here, Bitcoin Cash, Digibyte, XRP, Litecoin, and Ethereum, they are going to move. These coins here, it could be that OMG perhaps does not move. So be very careful, and I'm going to start talking about that in the next webinars, because we need to be very, very careful what coins we are holding. And I'm saying this again, guys, that Bitcoin could potentially move to 40, 80, 350,000 and make huge gains. But some of the altcoins that you currently hold, and they also in the top 40 crypto report, may not move that much. So be careful. Stick with these top coins. If you can, move into those coins. Stick with Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Digibyte, Bitcoin Cash. Hold smaller positions in the other altcoins. Okay, so this is just a quick synopsis of this, but we do expect Litecoin to come up. I'm quickly going to touch on Ethereum, and we're going to get into questions here. So Ethereum is still in this ABC correction. This is actually an ABCD in a down channel, but remember we spoke about it last week where we say that is your A, your B, and then your C, your A, B, C correction. You can see here that Ethereum went lower than this level here. So that completes the ABC correction, but I do believe that Ethereum is going to come down a little bit further. And let's just quickly get into this. I'm going to load a new chart, but I'm going to load it up without all the technical indicators. So let's just clear that. Okay, and then I will leave it on. I'm going to change this quickly to maybe the 4-hour chart. And let's remove all these indicators. Okay. And the reason I want to do this is we are quickly going to have a look at the ABC correction. And here you can see it a little bit better. Now, I want to identify, are we at the low for Litecoin and Ethereum or not? So let's quickly have a look. So if we take this, I'll just use the impulse wave for now. It's actually the wrong one to use, but I like that a lot better. So if we go down here, that's your 1, 2, probably about 3 there, 4. So that 5 waves actually completes the A wave. Now, then we have a ABC correction. Remember, that is lower, that point is higher. So that is a perfect example of maybe just, you can put it anywhere there. Let's just put it there. Of an ABC correction, ABC. And now downwards, we must have 5 waves again. So let's go back here and have a look. Okay, so that is definitely 1, 2, 3. So can you see why I say that I don't believe that we are on the low yet? By just simply doing this, There's your 1, 2 up, 3 up, and I'm expecting another little drop. Just remember, this thing can eat you blind. It's probably going to go up a little bit and drop. Now let's quickly go to Litecoin and do the same with Litecoin. And the same with Litecoin. We are going to remove all these indicators because the chart is a little bit too complicated. Let's just remove all that just to make the chart nice and easy to read. And again, I'm just going to go to the 4 hour. You can immediately see this looks similar to Ethereum immediately without even doing any of the analysis here. So you can see that high point there, exactly at that point there, that was your 1. You can probably say that's your 2. Come down either there or there. Let's take the lower point there, and there's 3. Now there must be 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Between 2 and 3, there's 5 waves. And guys, look, I'm not a technical analyst. We do algorithm analysis, but I sometimes use technical analysis just to see or to validate our data. So some of you may be better at this. So there's your ABC correction, and then what we must have is then another. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, that's maybe 3, up 4. So can you see why I say that the 5th leg, this one, is missing? And this is why I'm saying it could drop as low as below 60, but if it drops anywhere, it could maybe stop there, just a little bit lower. And let's just zoom in there. All it must do to complete that wave, guys, is to drop lower than that level there. See this line here? So let's just draw a line there. There we go. Now, if this drops just lower, just there, that point there, let me just put it on the screen and we can see that better. That's $70. Now, if it drops below that line of $70 in Litecoin, I'm starting to buy. That's called ladder in your buys. So ladder in means that I take a percentage, I buy. If it drops further, I buy. If it drops further, I buy more. If it drops below 60, I buy a heck of a lot because now you can see the distance is very far. This distance here should be shorter than the 2 to 3. So maybe around about there, $68. So somewhere in this region, somewhere in that region is the low point. Yeah, somewhere in this region. Wherever you buy here is going to be a good buy. Now, don't get fixated on the price of getting it at 70 or 60 or 65 or 50. You know, if you do get it there, it's a luck. Because remember this, guys, what we said here in Litecoin is that Litecoin is going from there, it's going to go upwards. And that upwards move. Now, let me just show you this upwards move. If we are down there to the bottom here and we go up to that point there, that's about 100% move. Now, can you guys recall 2 or 3 months ago, I was talking about the heartbeat. We're going to come to this heartbeat point, and that heartbeat is 100% divergence. It's from here to the bottom, right through to that top. That heartbeat must be around about 100%. Whether it's going to be 80%, that's good as well. Minimum 80 to 100. That's the outer limits. The limit here on the bottom, the limit to the top. And this heartbeat, we've got the first line down. That's your first line. Your second line, confirmation of the heartbeat, will be up to that point there, around about 120, 115, 120. Then it's going to come down, sideways, upwards, down, breakout, around about here after 10 September. Keep in mind that Ethereum, if you look at Ethereum, is the first coin, in our opinion, that is going to break out. Now remember Ethereum, my low point here for Ethereum is 119. Let's just have a look here how far that can go. This point here could be about 171. if I just look at technical analysis and just taking into account experience, you know, of doing these charts now for years and years. But don't be surprised, guys, if this thing goes down, I kid you not, like this, to 119. It could look like that as well. And if it happens, it will be like literally a day drop. It will drop so quick, but then it will shoot up really quick as well. But at the moment, probably regard that as around about 171. Bitcoin Cash, exactly the same. I don't believe this is the low for Bitcoin Cash. However, Bitcoin Cash is a little bit different. It's a stronger crypto. It may not do this drop down to these levels. I personally have not yet sold any Bitcoin Cash because it's holding its position here. But I do expect that we must have some sort of a drop, you know, into lower levels, maybe just to this green line here, which is about 280. Let's say around about there, 280. But I'm expecting anything in this block. Now, one of the things that I'm going to show you here, see this red line here on the bottom, that red line going through there. That line here is the mathematical algorithm support. And I'm just going to make that thicker so that everybody can see that. It touches there at a certain date, and it touches here at a certain date, and then it pulls through here on the bottom of this 14 July low point. And I've got the same done in Litecoin as well as Ethereum, and I'll show you there shortly. So there is a probability, guys, that this one can come down and hit this level here. This is why I say that's 185, and it can stab through. This is why this block is here. See this block here? We can drop into this zone, somewhere there. Wherever you buy, when you buy with new cash now, you can buy in that block. And then it's going to reverse up, and this coin also makes 1,000% gain. Let's go back to Ethereum. You can see here, here's that line for Ethereum, the same one that we have in Bitcoin Cash. See here, it touches there at a certain point here, certain point there, and that's how we get to this 150, the low point. That line is actually a little bit moved. Anyway, you get the point there, and then on Litecoin, we have the same line. See this thick line here? I know the charts are a bit messy, but you can go back and watch the videos again. Now, once we get down to these points here, I do believe there's one more drop. The overhead resistance, see this big blue line here that's going upwards here. Litecoin is expected to come here to this point here and have a bit of resistance, but it's going to slice through that overhead resistance. We are going to watch that when we get to that point, guys, because if it slices through this resistance, the $3,000 mark is a certainty. Now let's go quickly back to Bitcoin. Where's my Bitcoin chart? Okay, here's Bitcoin. Now you'll see that on the video that I did yesterday, this is the algorithm cycle, that dark purple or dark blue line. We said it's going to come down here, go up there, and then break out. Last week we said that it's going to break out, but instead it actually came down. Now remember, in this week I tweeted a few days ago and I said that Bitcoin is not expected to break down and drop further. You know, we don't see a massive drop here. What has happened is that the orders that were set up in Coinbase, remember guys, the thugs, the elite, whoever they are, the groups of people, the people that do it in the dark, you have to understand, and I want everybody to get this concept, really understand this. The American government, or whoever those people are in the government or in the banks or in some organizations, they don't want Bitcoin to succeed. Because if Bitcoin succeeds, it's going to unravel the fiat system. Now, this is why I say, guys, that the fiat system, I've always said this, is not just going to disappear overnight. It's going to run a long time with Bitcoin and cryptos. And you're always going to have this battle of, is Bitcoin going to succeed or not? Bitcoin will never, ever fail and never go to zero. Why? Because it's already mentally and emotionally adopted by people around the world. You can't break it. There's a belief in Bitcoin. You can't take the belief away. And there's a disheartening belief, like an untrust in the fiat system because of what governments do with the money. So if you look at what happened this week, in Coinbase, there were a lot of sell orders set. Those sell orders were set at 11.1, 11,000, 10.9, 10.8, numerous orders, like sell 5 Bitcoin every 5 minutes at a certain level. What we noticed is that those orders were removed. Remember last week I told you that we see some sort of a breakdown here, and we're going to monitor that. Now, very interesting, the day when Epstein died in prison, like an hour later when the news came out, all those orders were removed. That's when I tweeted out and said that we don't see Bitcoin breaking down, meaning that we don't see Bitcoin coming back and touching this level here that we discussed last week and breaking below the Python y-axis. As a matter of fact, and then breaking these 3 indicators and breaking down to 2000. We don't see that happening. Now, I don't know if it's related to the Epstein case. We're trying to unravel, because believe me, the more data we have, the more we're going to get to the point where we know who these people are that are trying to destroy the cryptocurrencies. And I think I've got an idea who it is. But if I say who it is, it will be a big conspiracy theory, and I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. But I believe it just goes high up, very high up in the government. Number one, yeah, Martin, just go ahead.
Is it a coincidence that Binance was on maintenance during this dip?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Coinbase, those orders could be filled, while Binance, you couldn't do anything on Binance.
Yeah, guys, and this is the thing what Martin is just mentioning, and thanks for your message, Martin, also. We must just talk afterwards, Guys, it's no coincidence. Now, let me go back and show you. All these exchanges are in cahoots with each other. They're here to grab your money, and the quicker we understand that, the better. The exchanges are not your friends. You know how much money I lost here, Martin, and on this date of 26 June 2019. Remember, this was when Bitfinex suddenly closed their exchanges. On that day, nobody could access Bitfinex. I was going to sell on that high because it was the top of the channel. And you guys remember that when Bitfinex suddenly went on maintenance. Nobody could sell. And look what happened the next day, that big drop. And, I was really, I don't want to give the word how annoyed I was, but it starts with a P. I was really, really annoyed. And Wendy, yes, that night, I was walking around here at home, up and down the home, because you couldn't access it. Now, today, exactly with Binance again. They play around and they get these people. Anyway, let's not get into that, guys, but it's just no coincidence. And then Coinbase. I tell you guys now, Coinbase are the biggest thugs in the world. Let me tell you this, those 17 or 18 wallets that we follow, the only way that you can get those orders placed at 10.5 to sell at 10.5 and lower at that volume, in that sequence, in that manner, is if somebody in Coinbase approves that. There's something going on here, and we have to be extremely careful with our data here. But anyway, this little drop here was not necessarily because of the fact of Coinbase or Epstein. This drop here is simply, guys, just a sentiment drop when most people realize that the SEC did not approve an ETF. And that is the sentiment drop. Sentiment drops normally come down very quick in a day, 2 or 3, and within 2 days they go up again. So long term, remember we said we're going to have the X increase, we're going to have Y, and then we're going to have Z. That's still in the charts. Don't sell your Bitcoin. It's simply a sentiment drop. It's going to go back up, and we're going to see that Y. Now, Y is going to go up to this point here, and I'm going to get into that shortly and show you what's going to happen here. We are going to move sideways here a little bit, and then we're going to have that extended wave Z into perhaps 18, 19, or 20,000, somewhere in that region. guys, if I say $1,000, don't be fixated on the price that it must hit 19,666. 18,000 is good. 17,000 is good too. But we want to see that pattern play out. And I'm going to leave this here exactly like it is. And on the video I showed yesterday that you will have that drop and the market is going to come back up and follow that same pattern again. We don't know where that high point is, but we can literally take out this one now, the A move. We don't see a spike upwards. I don't see that. There's too much loss of momentum via sentiment. So it must build up sentiment and momentum. That's why it's going to go sideways and then break out upwards. Now, the three good indicators here is this one here, the cross of that cross that we showed last time, that cross there. But look what's happening here. This green 52 algorithm line is about to cross above the Python y-axis, guys. And let me just quickly draw that. Yeah, you can ask your question shortly. That's basically going to go like this. This is going to go like that. And remember what we said, there's going to be three lines that are going to follow each other. This one will be there. See, this line here is going to go up again. And there's your three lines. Line 1, line 2, line 3. And remember, guys, when I mentioned about the three musketeers, remember a week or 2 weeks ago, I had this image of the three musketeers. Here they are. 1, 2, 3 musketeers. So there's always something that we do with regard to that. And those three lines will follow each other upwards till $80,000, guys. Bitcoin is not going to break down. We don't see it. Even remember I said that somewhere at this point as well, we're going to see a breakdown. I don't see it now because these indicators, you know, to break these indicators downwards, there must be a huge event that takes Bitcoin down. Something like the entire internet blackout or a nuclear war or something disastrous. Now, yes, that can always happen, but I don't see it in my algorithm data. Sorry, I'm just going to give that person, you wanted to ask something before I go to Dow Jones? Yeah, go ahead.
Vince, real quick. When you're looking at Coinbase, consider Coinbase to be the same as JP Morgan.
Exactly.
JP Morgan is a go-to bank for the Fed that does all their trading desk and all that stuff goes right through JP Morgan. And then Coinbase is the largest U.S. exchange for cryptos at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So just use that as your mindset and thinking about that the U.S. government, because it is a regulated exchange and it's limited to how many cryptos that are available on it. And
Exactly.
I believe they have an over-the-counter trading desk going on. I can't prove it, but that's how all this happens with Bitcoin in a hurry, out of nowhere.
Yeah, Vince, they do have an over-the-counter trading desk where people can go and trade, but they just unethical, guys. You know, it's. But this is the name of the game. You know, we'll stay ethical. Let them do the thing. In the end, truth wins. Well, I shouldn't say that because didn't Biden recently say we rather accept the facts over truth, or what did he say? Some silly, stupid thing.
When he was with Obama or after Obama?
No, after. Just last week he said, we accept truth over facts, or something like that.
He doesn't know what day it is.
Yeah, exactly. You know, these politicians, man, I tell you, it's just unbelievable. And look, guys, not a political speech. I'm not against Biden, but you know, in my opinion, he's a dirty cop.
I'm pretty sure he said facts over truth. I'm pretty sure is what he said.
Something like that, you know.
Yeah, because they can make up the facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Marius, I love your Dow Jones chart. It's great.
Yeah, guys, let's quickly have a look at the Dow Jones, TG. We do believe that there is going to be a breakout here upwards, but I'm not saying this is an inverted head and shoulders, but let's just move that aside for now. But I just wanted to show you how that could play out. But we do see, remember I tweeted out and said that there's going to be an event that will take Bitcoin, the world stock markets down to about 20,000 Dow. The date for that to drop is probably very soon. As soon as Bitcoin starts moving up, you're going to see the world stock markets drop. But guys, this is not a crash. Everybody in the world is calling for the world stock markets to crash. It's not going to happen like that, you know. Don't be fearful about this, you know. We do see a drop downwards, but we do see it coming back up. Ultimately, the Dow is going to go to 40,000. Yes, go ahead, TG.
Marius, what do you expect Bitcoin to do when the Dow drops to 19, 20,000 points?
It's going to shoot up to $20,000.
But you think Bitcoin's going to go back? Cool.
Yeah, let's quickly have a look at this, guys. Now, this is a clean chart of Bitcoin. Now, let me show you, and I'm quickly going to get into this. And I actually want to give people a chance to answer questions or to ask questions, and we will answer them. But let's quickly get into this. This is just for the new people who are here, that's your one leg, your second, 1, 2, 3 there. 4 here, and that's your extended wave 5. Perfect, perfect. It's completed. Now what you get, guys, after this is that you get a typical ABC correction, which is that one there, right to that point, up there and down there. Now, Bitcoin now is in a different phase. Guys, this phase is going to be massive. I tell you now, it's going to be very, very big. This year is this is actually not your first leg here is going to be higher than that one there, which is basically, I don't exactly know where, but it could be here with a bit of a drop here. This is that drop. Sorry, let me just mute everybody again here. This is the drop that we were talking about, and I'll get into that shortly. 3 and then 5. Now 3 could be, okay, this is just tentative, guys. You know, you're going to look at here maybe 18 or 19. We're going to have a bit of a drop here back to very close to 14,000, and then we're going to break this high here of 22,000. That is more or less what you can look at for the future. So in between this leg here, 0 to 1, we should have this 1, a drop here up there, that drop that you see here now, and an extended spike up to this level here, higher than that one there. Okay, so this is where we are now, just to show you. So it's not a complete breakdown of what's happening here. As a matter of fact, TG, if you like inverted head and shoulders, let me just quickly get that. Just have a look at that one there. You can argue that this is actually a very, very good head and shoulders forming here. And most of you know what happens then.
Yeah, it goes up.
Now, something similar is forming in the world stock markets. Remember the Dow that we had here? Okay, so we're not going to disregard the fact that this can break down, but it can also go up. But I do expect that you know, that we could have a bit of a drop here. It can go as low as maybe that level there, and that level there is 20. Sorry, that is actually it. Yeah, that's 20,000 Dow. So it could look something like this, and not necessarily come this low to about that level there. So it could perhaps just be something like that.
Marius, this is called bearish megaphone pattern. It's gonna go down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly, Boris. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, Bitcoin just the opposite actually. It's
exactly, guys. Yeah. You see, Boris, you get it. Bitcoin is opposite, although it looks the same, but it's opposite of what is happening in the world stock markets. Okay. If you literally go here, let me just clear the screen, and you'll see here. Look at this day candle here. Can you see that this dropped while Bitcoin actually, what did that do? Is going up. It's doing the opposite of what the world stock markets are doing at the moment. Guys, let's quickly get into gold. Gold is exactly on track. We expect this pattern to play out. You can see it's broken above this yellow channel, and I'm going to zoom into that point there. We're going to head up to 19,000 long term. This is about 20,000 around about there, 20,000 Bitcoin, somewhere there. We're going to go to 80,000 Bitcoin. And then ultimately, Bitcoin, in my opinion, is going to go to 350,000 Bitcoin by next year, June, July. Now, I'm not going to go show you all that kind of stuff now, guys, because we don't want to go too far ahead. We just need to focus on where we are now. But if I zoom into gold here, you can see that gold has broken that channel there. It's just broken upwards. And we expect that it could maybe come back and have another spike upwards there. So anyway, gold looks really good. Any questions, guys? I didn't go through Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash again.
I'd just like to say thanks, Marius, for the gold. What's your thoughts on silver as well, please?
Yes, silver, guys, is something that we believe is going to go up and break this $20 level very, very quickly. I believe that when Bitcoin goes to 18, 19, and 20, maybe 22,000, that silver is going to break the $20,000 magic line. Remember, this is a magic line. If silver breaks that, guys, it's going to go up here very quickly to $35 and $40. And once it breaks this level, I believe that we could easily see very close to $100 this year before the end of this year, maybe around about 24 December, similar to Litecoin. When Litecoin moves up now, and if Litecoin hits 3,000 by 24 December 2019, silver is going to be $100.
One mistake. Cryptocurrency.
Okay, I'm just muting everybody again. So guys, let's quickly, I just quickly want to run through EOS. I believe that EOS can potentially make another lower point here. I really want to see the $3 mark. But if you want to get back into EOS or add to your positions, it's a good time now. NEO is a beauty of a coin, guys. This big drop here is going to propel NEO to huge numbers. Look at this big ABC correction, similar to that of Bitcoin. Remember the Bitcoin correction. That ABC correction in Bitcoin is what's going to push Bitcoin to insane levels. Now, you can't see it on this chart here, but let me go back to Bitcoin here. If you look at these three indicators, the three musketeers, one there, one there, one there. In my algorithm data, the same figures or the same principles are coming up for NEO. NEO is a coin that you want to hold. I do believe it's going to come back a little bit lower here to form maybe that low, and then we're going to see that breakout upwards. And the breakout, guys, this is the critical point for NEO. If you don't want to buy yet, but I recommend this is a great buy, you can wait till we hit 35, because at 35, it's going to have a bit of a speed wobble, come down, bit of resistance. When it breaks through this level here, the Python Y-axis, it's game over for NEO, because it's going to go through $100, $200, $800. Similar to that, let's have a look at BNB. Always use BNB as a great example. Can you see here where you can't see the Python Y-axis now, which is the dark purple line. But if you pull that through, it's about here. Now, here at this point is where NEO more or less is now, just according to algorithm data. You're going to see a big move up in NEO, then breaking the Python Y-axis at $35, and then it's going to form the same pattern. And look what happened here with this pattern, guys. This is where NEO is now, just there on the bottom. It's a great buy, and you're going to see all these moves, more or less the same what BNB has done. And just so you know, BNB is not out. Guys, BNB is something that you want in your portfolio. I mean, this coin is poised to go up. And it doesn't matter if you bought there, or you bought here, or you bought there, you simply just hold BNB. Remember what we say here? Hold a combination of WAX, AGI, Walton coin, between $500 and $1,000 in those coins. At any date, any time, any week, one of these three or all three are going to jump up 1,000% in a week, or shorter, or 6,000%. anything can happen with these. It's coming up in our algorithm data as a top priority coin to hold. Now, I wouldn't go and put $100,000 in that. I wouldn't go and put 50,000 in that. You use small amounts of money because what we said from the beginning of the year, you are going to use that to pay off debt. Your credit card, car loan, bank loans. You want to get rid of the bank and give them their filthy money back. You want to become debt-free. Then you can hold IOTA or OMG. So those are also good coins to hold. And then look what we say here about BNB. Number 9, BNB, a great coin to hold. EOS, NEO. The top 5 coins are the most important. Now, if you go back to this old model portfolio, this portfolio still works, but you have to convert. If you've got, Populous is still good to hold small percentages. My Populous, I haven't sold him. Because guys, you're going to see the day when Populous goes to $100 and more. You're going to see the day when Veritasium goes back up to $100 and $200, $300. You hold. You don't sell Populous, don't sell Veritasium. QTIM is another thing to hold. IOTA, definitely. You know, Stellar. If you hold XRP, there's no need to hold Stellar. You either hold one or two. If I have to choose, hold XRP. Move your XLM into XRP. Now, Digibyte is very good to hold. Tron, I am a little bit skeptical of Tron because remember I've said this multiple times. The data that we gather with TRX is either fake data and not the true data, or it's distorted. Why it comes through like that, I don't know, but I've got my ideas about this, but just be careful with holding too much TRX. It's better to move it into XRP perhaps, or into Litecoin, or in the top 5 coins. XRP definitely. Stratus, yes. Veritasium for sure. ADA, guys, is also something that you need to consider, but ADA is going to move very slow. It's a slow coin. And then you can just go through these. You can hold a combination of these. Let me see, 10x. Yeah, I would just be, if you hold these guys, hold a small percentage of that. But let me tell you this, guys. I've done the numbers. I've done the algorithm analysis. These top 5 coins, you want to hold maybe a little bit more, 80% perhaps of your portfolio in these.
So
I've got about 95% of my portfolio in these top 10, top 9. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question on Veritasium. It's not dead with the lawsuit just came out from SEC?
No, not at all, guys.
Okay.
Look, they've been on Reggie Middleton's case since he started.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, wherever they can break somebody down, they will do it. Guys, you have to remember that I went through similar stuff, not exactly the same with Reggie Middleton does, but as soon as we became very famous and big, and I'm not bragging about anything, just get me right, but you know, people want to knock you down, and we had banks who wanted to knock us down, phone calls that we got, derogatory stuff, you know, blocking our access to certain financial instruments where people couldn't get their subscriptions done. Man, that's crazy stuff, guys. And then telling me on the phone that we will destroy you. So you have to remember, whenever you do something good to the community, and Reggie Middleton is in Africa doing great work. The people in Africa love him. But they will destroy Veritasium as much as they can. But I tell you now, from my conversations, remember I've got a business partner. His name is Ijoki Inakaraya. I mean, he's a top person in Nigeria. He's my business partner in West Africa. Now, he's the kind of person he's going to run for president in America. So he's a top candidate. Sorry, in Nigeria. Well, baby, Nigerians run for president too, and they win as well, you know. So who knows him? Yeah.
And Marius,
Yes.
did you have something else to add on Bitcoin Cash before we move on?
Yeah, let's move on there. But anyway, what Ijoki tells me what's happening in West Africa is just surprising, guys, with Veritasium. Did you talk about Bitcoin Cash? I haven't got anything to add on Bitcoin Cash there, except that I don't believe that this is the low. I believe that we could drop a little bit lower. Maybe we get stopped by that green line. But I have seen lately, I really want to see, Vince, see this ABC correction, that we must get lower than the A. Maybe just there, even if it goes $1 lower, then the ABC correction is still complete. But remember this, when it comes down to this level,
Hey, Marius,
it becomes good buying opportunities. Yes, go ahead.
I have a question about Bitcoin. So is it right time to buy a Bitcoin, or is it will go lower again?
It's a good time to buy Bitcoin. We don't believe that Bitcoin is going to go much lower than what it is now. There is a probability that it could come and drop again, a little bit of a drop, but let's have a look at this quickly. Let me go to this clean chart. Let's move this out.
Marius, while you're doing that, the question would be is, do you see Litecoin, Ethereum dropping because Bitcoin is dropping a little further, or are they going to go inverse?
Inverse. Remember, we've always maintained and said that Bitcoin is going to go up and the cryptos will drop. Now look at what happened here. From this number 2 to number 3, remember that Bitcoin went upwards. There we go, it went up. What happened with altcoins? Altcoins didn't go up. Then altcoins dropped and Bitcoin dropped as well. But now you're going to see a typical example here where Bitcoin now short term is going to go up, but altcoins could potentially drop. Now, I don't want to rule out, guys, that Bitcoin can potentially maybe just slightly drop back again. See, like that? While altcoins have their final drop. But this move upwards that's coming now, we are probably going to see Litecoin go up, Ethereum go up, Bitcoin go up. And let me just show you exactly similar what we said last week. Have a look at this now. I want to show you something really amazing. Okay, Bitcoin may move first, but altcoins are going to catch up. And let's say Bitcoin moves like that, up to this level of 19,000. What is that percentage gain? Let's quickly have a look here. The percentage gain from where we are at that low point here to that 19,000 more or less is about 9,400. Let's say 90%, just rough figures. Now this figure here, this is why I say, don't move your cryptos. Don't sell Litecoin, move into Bitcoin. Don't sell Bitcoin and move into Litecoin. You simply just hold and ride out the wave. Now remember, guys, this is Bitcoin. We have a 94% rise from this bottom here. Let's go to Litecoin and see what is the Litecoin rise. I have to go to this one here. We've actually already done it on the previous webinar. See here, this move here is maximum about, if it drops to that point, is maximum 100. If we make it a little bit less and say maybe around about there, look at that, guys, it's almost the same as Bitcoin. Now let's go to Ethereum and do the same with Ethereum. Now Ethereum is a little bit more difficult. Now we can't do it with Ethereum because Ethereum, when it comes down to this low point, it breaks out and it's the first coin that breaks out and it never comes back. So another coin that we can do it on is, yeah, Bitcoin Cash perhaps. You'll see that Bitcoin Cash is going to get stopped out by this Python Y-axis here. And that will give us a 92% rise, you know, up to this level here before it has a drop and then move upwards. So guys, this is why I say, if you look at your Bitcoin from this level now is going to go up about 94%. Altcoins will do more or less the same. So while we're now in that uptrend, we are now in this move here. Remember from the bottom here, the second leg of the heartbeat. Remember we came down here. We are going up there, come down here sideways and then break out. I'm just going to mute everybody again if there's any questions. Guys, let's focus on questions.
Marius, I have a question.
Sorry, Doug, go ahead.
Okay, Marius, my question is on Bitcoin. Essentially, we are kind of expecting to go around, let's say, between 17 to 18,000, and then maybe go back to that support that we have around 13, 14, correct?
Guys, yeah, that is correct. And remember, exactly like last week, I don't want to get ahead of the game. Otherwise, people are starting questions what could happen in the future. And we don't really want to answer that. But it is a good question, and I'll just quickly explain that. And I'm not going to get into the details of this, guys. But once we get here into 18, 19, wherever that high point is, we will identify the high point. Don't worry about that, more or less. But it then comes back, and Boris and I, remember last week we spoke about this drop, and Boris asked the same question again. And we said that it's going to drop down to around about 14,000. And then it's going to spike up again to $22,000. And that is what we were talking about, the twin, the Bitcoin twin. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what you can look forward to.
Okay, because what I was thinking is, I guess if we just shoot up and pass 20 on this next run, I guess I want to ask your opinion is, do you think that might look very bad for for Bitcoin? Because then we just essentially create a new high and essentially a double top, and then we could have, you know, a even bigger correction than just the 14 level.
No,
what do you think?
no, not at all. I've already seen what these people are doing that are manipulating Bitcoin. Remember, we said that there could be a drop here. That drop, I don't believe is going to happen. And remember, last week we said that there is a probability that it can break through. It's a very low probability. At this moment, we don't see it, but we're not stupid. We are all smart people here, and we're going to keep that as a probability. Because I will monitor that, guys, you know, and we've got a certain way in our system that we develop now that we will be able to know if they're going to drop it. And please don't share these videos, guys. You know, we go to extend to have a look at IP addresses because we don't want anybody outside our subscription to see what we see. You imagine now, okay, if I come out and I tell you guys, listen, guys, with a certainty, this is going to happen. It's going to drop here. It's going to go back up and we hit 22,000. Now these thugs are sitting there in their highly paid offices with their IT people, and they know that we know the pattern. What do you think are they going to do? They may run this up a little bit and drop it here and run it up again and then bang, drop it. They will just simply change the algorithm. But
I agree with you.
Yeah. But we are looking at that, guys. You know, this is a big part of what I do and what my team do. We want to know when they're going to drop it. And guys, we have to be so careful, very, very careful.
Because that's what I was actually thinking. If a move like that happened and then essentially Bitcoin just pass through the all-time high and then just stay there for, let's say, a couple of days and even go to the 22,000, then everybody just like, yeah, let's go back in. Now, you know, we have a support on the 20,000, and then next you know, they just dump on everybody.
Now, guys, remember I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. When we break 22,000, it's going to come back. And then, remember I said when it breaks the 22,000 again, what did I say am I going to do? I said that Wendy and I, we're going to fly to Fiji and have a 1 week holiday, because then Bitcoin is going to go to 80,000. Yeah, remember we said that.
It has to do it twice, right, Mario?
Yeah, twice. If it breaks 22 and then it drops and then it comes and breaks 22 again, guys, we're going to go on holiday and Wendy is going to pay for the whole holiday because you're making so much money in Bitcoin.
I got a quick question. This is great. I hope that's exactly how it plays out, because that's just unbelievable. You know, and hopefully that's going to play out. I'm very much interested in Litecoin. I am out of the position. I've been selling from 140 actually. I've been selling all the way down to 100, and I'd like to get back in. So you're saying that $70, I'm sorry, is the mark where you would start buying, and then if it drops lower, you would be hitting again. And if it gets below 60, that's just you know, load up as much as you can. Is that correct?
Okay, guys, yeah. Let's quickly have a look at this, and we are going to identify the the low point. And I want to do that as well, Boris. So we're going to go, that was the line. I'm just, there we go. Yes, that is the line. It touches there. Okay. Now, this is the algorithm line. Now, what I'm going to show you here is that it shows that date. It shows somewhere here, more or less. You know, you can probably move that up slightly to about there. And then we've got this timeline here touching. Okay, now, this is the thing now. In our data, it shows that, okay, if that was the low point there, it shows that wherever it touches here, let me just see, Sunday was, so it's 2 days, and that is the 18th as the low point. That is why this line here, Boris, is at 58. Remember I said that I placed all my orders below 60? This is the reason why. There's a big probability that Litecoin can come down and touch that. Now, what I mentioned earlier is this. If you look at this big move downwards, let's say that is the low. Sorry guys, I'm just going to mute everybody again. If that comes down to that point, that is probably your longest point, which we call a first move. Then we have the second one, which is shorter. That one is shorter. Now, this could perhaps be that we have an extended drop here into this point, but this is why I draw this blue box here and say that we could perhaps see a $70 Litecoin here. So around about this level here, I'm going to say that in that $10 range, Boris, that is your low point. 68, 70 to 58.
Okay, got it. And the same for Ethereum from 150 down.
Yeah, Ethereum, let's have a look. We haven't done, okay, let me just do that same line. I can't remember, I think it touches there. There we go, more or less there. That gives us, let's delete that and put something else in there, a price label. 165 on the 18th, which will be Sunday. So this is what I expect, that 165. But remember this, my algorithm data for some reason shows 118. It's kind of like I just want you guys to be aware of this. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but you could see somewhere here just a flash drop. A flash drop is where it simply just drops to that point and then suddenly spikes back up again. Like literally in a day.
It's a big difference, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well place buy orders ahead of time, limit buys, and just let it fill.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've done. You know, I used a certain amount of money, placed buy orders at 118, 120, 124. But most likely, you know, this could happen. This could happen. I'm not saying it's a certainty, but it could. Now, if you have a look on the left-hand side of the chart, it doesn't make sense. Can you see there? It broke through all these resistance levels here. It broke through that resistance. That resistance is basically the stop line. So I had a look at that too. I'm just showing you what is the maximum outer limit of what my data is showing. And then on Litecoin, the maximum outer limit on my data here is 58. It does show a bit of a flash crash, but not a little bit, just a stab through, a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Marius.
Marius, are we also looking at the same leg down for NEO? Is that the same scenario?
NEO is a little bit different, but let's go to NEO as well. There's no line here really that it follows, so you can't really on NEO draw that same line. That line there just doesn't work. There's nothing in the algorithm where I can connect mathematical equations. We had a look at that, but it comes through distorted because it should really line up with your pattern, something like this, you know, and it doesn't work. Because if you go back to Litecoin, let me just quickly show you that. See this blue line here?
Mm-hmm.
That blue line follows the channel as well. So on NEO, it doesn't do it. Now, what I said on NEO is that it could go a little bit lower to that point, but if it touches this $5 here, I just wouldn't buy NEO right now, because you have to take into account what's going to happen with Litecoin, Ethereum. NEO is kind of like in that ballpark where it's still like a little child, and it follows other coins. It doesn't do its own analysis. Same with EOS, guys. Similar again. EOS is completely and utterly different. You can't draw that same algorithm line. It doesn't work. But you can potentially, I'm just guessing now because of the fact what I see in Litecoin and the other coins, that we could see a lower number here of about $3. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, because I was thinking on NEO, I was just thinking about the last leg being having the 5 waves, going down. So that's the only thing I was thinking, and maybe have hit those prices that you were talking about.
Well, let's quickly have a look at NEO, and we can analyze that quickly. Now, let's move that out. This is more in a channel. So, but nonetheless, you can still do it. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so that is your top, that's your bottom, there's a top. That is definitely, because that is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go, and that's your bottom. Now see here, the ABC correction is a little bit distorted, although it is still ABC correction. Look at where that goes. That goes up here, a B, and a C. You can argue and say that is your end. So, and remember guys, I'm not a technical analyst. We just use this to validate data. So if you go down there, that can probably be your top there. Is that the low point? Sure, that is actually higher. So let's just put that, see that one there is actually the highest point there.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually looking at it. It's more like that.
And that does show one more leg down. If it does go down, it could go on the 18th down to this middle channel. See, this shows a quick drop. I do believe we're going to have one more drop. But guys, look at this now. Sometimes people go like, should I buy now at $10 or should I wait and buy at $7? I know it's a 30% difference, but we don't know where that's going to stop. But I would wait and see if this thing drops, it's going to go at least lower than 3, and you're going to get it at $8. So you start buying 8, but it's immaterial in the long scheme of things. I believe that this drop that we see now in all cryptos is probably one of the last drops. However, I want to warn you about this, guys. This is something that I just did earlier. Remember this, as we head up here to 80,000 and maybe 350,000, you can literally make a 17,000% gain. That is about 19,000. If we take into account, there's going to be 4 drops here from between the 2 and the 3, 4 big drops. One of these drops drops Bitcoin with $20,000. And remember, I tweeted that out, and people said, "How can it drop to 20 or $20,000 drop?" You bet it's going to happen. We know more or less where that is, but you're going to have 4 drops here.
Yeah, but it will be at 300,000 by then, right?
It actually does that before it hits 80,000 Boris. Yeah.
Well, then it should be 80 or 100 to drop 20.
Yeah. Believe it or not, but 20,000, there's a $40,000 drop as well that happens in 1 week. And it happens between leg 4 and 5. But, we're talking of the future, and, once you talk about that, people will go, oh, I don't need a subscription because I know where it's going to go. I just hold Bitcoin. It's not as simple as that, guys.
Hey, Marius, have you been on any calls with any of your whales? Anything you can share with us, maybe about bond inversion yields or Deutsche Bank collapsing or anything?
Can we just have another question before we go into that kind of stuff, Marius, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question about Litecoin and the timing. You know, Ethereum and Litecoin, you're showing it's going to bottom around the 17th or 18th. Is that the time frame you're looking at, or is it going to be a wider time frame than 17th or 18th of August?
Sorry, Mike, we're going to get back to your question. It seems like you're outnumbered there. Okay, yeah, guys, we believe that the low point could be over this weekend. Don't get caught out, because remember this, guys, when it's Sunday, American time, markets drop. Keep that in mind. Be very careful. Today is Friday in Australia. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Be very careful. The big drop, it's going to look like the market may go up and up and up. It can't go higher than that one. Now, this is how you can actually quantify this as well. Let's quickly have a look here. If see this low point here, okay, if Litecoin goes up and it goes above this black line here, which is $82, the chance that it's going to come down is very low. But if it comes up to, and let me just enlarge that a little bit. This is how you can actually identify it if you are not there and it's Sunday and we're sleeping and you want to do your own analysis. If this now goes up and it breaks above, it won't come back. It will come back and test that as support and then go up. Keep that in mind. So what you need to do, you need to watch this now, and it may come up and look like it's going to break out. Don't buy yet. Don't buy. It may come just there and have that one more drop here. And then there it goes. So you need to watch this point here. It can't go above that point there. If it does, it breaks the cycle of Elliott wave. Keep that in mind. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, Marius, that's,
Yes, thank you.
That's,
Marius.
Yes.
Marius, why market is going down when you are wearing red cap? Since you are wearing red cap, market is going down.
Say again,
Since you are wearing red cap, red hat, I mean, the market is going down. Why you just change your green cap?
Oh my goodness, you're right. Let's change that. Good point.
Quick one, Marius. Can you look into XRP as well and do a bit of analysis similar to NEO?
Sorry, just ask the question again. I just didn't get it there.
Sorry, I was saying, can we look into XRP as well? Just do a similar analysis that you did for NEO?
Yeah, okay. XRP is a little bit different to do, but let's quickly do that. Guys, Wendy, can you see the chat there? Okay. If anybody wants to ask a question, let's just sequence that, you know. So just put your name in the chat and say you're going to ask a question so everybody can see it, so we don't talk over other people, you know. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to ask questions, and
hey, Marius,
now,
can you look at XRP?
I am on XRP now. Can you see my screen?
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I just left the room for a minute.
Okay, let's change this to 4 hours. XRP is very difficult to quantify, really, you know, because it doesn't work. It's the same as NEO, you know. But let's quickly have a look here. That was the... Okay, that is 27 June. Let's have a look here. August. Okay, that's the same. Yeah, you see this. This is a very distorted chart. Now, remember, I haven't done this prior to this, but let's just quickly have a look here. That could most probably be the low, the high, probably down there. Maybe there, and that will probably complete the wave, and you can see that's very distorted, you know, with a very long drop. That's called your first leg drop. Second, you know, that's your extended. The first one is the extended one. Now, the ABC correction in this one is a little bit distorted. The same with NEO. Yeah, where do you really put that? You know, I mean, there you can say it's there, there, and there, and that could be the leg there. And I just don't believe that we are on the low point for XRP yet. Maybe something like that, and then down there. And remember, I said that the low point could be about 21 there, $21, 21 cents. So you look at, there we go. So that could potentially be the low point. Now, let's go back to XRP and have a look at this one. This is the, remember there's that big drop, and we've always said that it's going to drop lower than this point here. We mentioned that point last week and the weeks before, and we said we want to see a drop lower than that point, and there it is. It could come back and drop one more lower low. Before then, guys, it's going to go upwards, and that is kind of like your, where Bitcoin reaches that level as well. Let's just measure that distance. It will be interesting to see, because that should be, from this point here, should be about close to, that's about at 60. If it drops a little bit lower to 21, can you see it gets very close to that level that we discussed in Bitcoin? See this 94%? So XRP, very close to that breakout as well. That will be the top for Bitcoin. It's going to drop. It's going to come back like a double drop. A drop there, a double drop there. At that point, that's when you buy. And then it goes up for 21 days to extraordinary prices. Any other question?
Marius, yes, I have a question, but it's not crypto related. Do you see a problem with HSBC worldwide?
No, not at all, guys, because they will be bailed out by governments all around the world. There's no issue with any bank. Look at Deutsche Bank. It should have failed a long time ago. But somehow they are using these banks to launder money. The Federal Reserves are the biggest launderer in the world. Yeah, so we don't see a problem. Guys, let's just get a question from Cal. Cal, we're going to get a question from Cal, David, Greg, Lonnie, and then who's DGB? Okay. Okay, so Cal, just ask your question there.
You got it. Thanks, thanks, Marius. Good to hear you again. Two questions. From last time, you mentioned that at some point you were going to potentially sell all of your Bitcoin into crypto, into the alts. Can you go through that again with the changes that have occurred since then?
You say that I said I'm going to sell all my cryptos into alts.
Oh, sorry, no, sorry, your Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. Remember this, guys, in the beginning of the video, I said that we have to be very careful. I see changes in the market. And what I said is we don't want to necessarily sell all our Bitcoin into cryptos. There's a big probability, guys, that Bitcoin is going to, remember how we talk about altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. We have to be careful because Bitcoin can go, I say that the high is 350. Guys, it could easily be $1 million. There's a change in the pattern that I see. You know, you really want to make sure that you've got 10 or 15% of your funds in Bitcoin as well. But
maybe Marius, you should talk about 6 coins then instead of 5.
Well, actually, so Marius, so instead, I would actually probably change my question. Sorry, I missed the first 10. I missed the first 10 minutes. Would you be able to comment on maybe when you might move, when you're thinking of the range of when you might move a majority of your Bitcoin or some of it into altcoins?
Yeah, I'll quickly get into that. Remember, guys, we talk about the top 5. But when we talk about the top 5, we always say include Bitcoin. But these are the top 5 altcoins. You must still hold Bitcoin in your portfolio. Okay, so but there is going to be a time. Let me just mute everybody there. There is going to be a time, guys, where I said that I'm going to get out of every single crypto, my own personal portfolio, not the ones that we hold for the Saudis and for business investors in Texas. And you know, we've got a group of almost 300 people that we invest also now. So we're not going to get out of those. We still hold those. But as you get up here and we head into this 19,000, I'm going to get out of my crypto holdings, every single thing, my own personal investments, because the market's going to go down to 13 or 14. This is what we expect. And then it's going to go up. Because you want to come back and buy your altcoins here. If you think this drop is big, that's a small drop, guys. This is just a little, you know, it's insignificant really, this Bitcoin little drop here. But this big drop here is going to be big. Then it's going to go up to 22 and then drop again. So at that point here, I'll tell you when I get out and move everything. We'll be on a webinar like this and I'll mention, we'll have time to discuss that and say that I'm getting out of everything.
Is there any point, oh, sorry, I was just wondering, is there any point where you're going to actually move Bitcoin into other coins?
No, because I'm constantly, I think I hold about 15% of portfolio in Bitcoin. So my Bitcoin portfolio, I'm still going to hold it. Okay. Now, there is a time point. Okay, I know, I think I get you now. There's a time point here, guys. See here, where I said that the spike starts 9 to 12 September. Of course, at that point, I'm not going to be in Bitcoin, because why would I want to be in Bitcoin? There's no chance in a heck that Bitcoin is going to go up 1,000%. No, it won't do that. You know, take Bitcoin now. What is it now? I don't know. What is the Bitcoin price now, Wendy?
Marius, maybe it's interesting to look to Bitcoin versus Litecoin on the weekly chart. Then you see that we are really on the bottom.
Yeah.
Compared with 2018 and 2016, 17.
Say that again.
If you go to the chart of Litecoin versus Bitcoin on the weekly.
Yeah, okay.
Then you see that we are really on the bottom.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And you can compare that with the last years.
Yeah, you can do that too, guys. Yeah, you can, as you said, you can compare that. But guys, when the spike starts in the altcoins, I'll have minimal in Bitcoin and maximum in the top 5 altcoins. Okay, let's get a question from David and then Greg.
Hi, Marius. Thanks a lot. Just quick, gets on to what Boris was asking before. In the next 2 days, right, this possible drop is coming. So it's coming up to Sunday. Then most of these coins move around the 53-day, which brings us to about the 10th of September. Unless it's Litecoin that goes up earlier to his to point C. Am I right? Litecoin doesn't go up to point C by the 53-day cycle. It goes actually before.
Let me bring that down. Can you see here? There's your 53-day algorithm cycle. So it goes up here. This date is a tentative date. We don't know where the date is. Remember I said last week it can move on.
Okay.
This is just something that we put in and said that's a tentative date. But it aligns, the high point here aligns with the Bitcoin high point. Yeah, so whenever Bitcoin hits this high point here, wherever that is, and remember last week we also said that that can be a little bit earlier, so we don't know yet. The high point date, guys, is something that I don't know. The simple reason, manipulation. We can't figure the high point. Past this high point, once we reaches 22,000, we'll be able, I think, to do it again, to have the dates more or less. But let's have a look at this algorithm here. This algorithm here shows that at the start, we have a significant move. Then we have a drop, and then it goes up. We have a drop, and then it spikes up into a high point with a drop again. and then another move. So in previous versions, you'll see that we actually had this at about 24 August, I think something similar like this. And then we had, if you just go back to the old videos, you'll see that we talk about a drop here. And then we say, could that be the spike? Well, not really like that, but the drop happens over 14 days. Let me just redo that. If that's 14 days, the drop comes something like this. And at that date, it moves up. Well, not that high, but to 22,000, then back down and 22 again. So you're going to see something like this. So just keep that in mind, David. Does that answer your question, David? Now remember that high point here, the high point here coincides with the leg C.
I got you. And leg C for Litecoin and Bitcoin is more or less on the same time. We just don't know what day it is. But then they both come down to the 53-day cycle before everything goes up, right? But Bitcoin doesn't go up as fast as the rest.
Exactly. Yeah. This point here, remember I said that last time, at this point is where I believe that the altcoins is going to outperform Bitcoin. Right. And that's also that I said that at that point, I'm going to have minimal Bitcoin and maximum altcoins. But remember, guys, things change so quick. I mean, to tell you what is going to happen in the future, it's a very difficult task to do. A lot of people think it's easy. But if I take this away now, and I ask anybody now, you tell me what's going to happen with Bitcoin now. Nobody will know. It's a very difficult task to work out these figures and to work out where Bitcoin is going to go. So what we do, let me just get that back. Okay, now it doesn't want to give it back. Now, that algorithm line that we showed you there, that is what we expect it to happen. And so far, I think we've been pretty accurate with that. Let me just reload this chart. There we go. There it's back. And let's delete this one. Okay, cool. Back to normal. Is there another question from Greg?
Yeah, just one thing about Ethereum. You mentioned that this spike down. I don't know if you realize there was a big spike down to about 100 2 days ago.
Yeah, it depends on what exchange you are, guys. On what exchange was that?
Well, I'm using an app that puts all the exchanges together and gives the lowest price.
Okay, yeah, that's why I say it can be on a certain exchange, especially when that specific exchange is trading very low volume. And you'll find that if that order was executed at 100, it may be like something like 5 Ethereum, but it won't be thousands of Ethereum.
Okay.
Greg, how are you doing, Greg?
Hey, good, Marius. How are you?
Awesome, man.
Hey, do you see Bitcoin following Litecoin and Ethereum down for the 18th low?
Yes, Greg. What we said is with Bitcoin. Remember, we had this chart here. You may have not been here at that point, but we said that see this little candle here, that we could perhaps see that Bitcoin comes down. And at the same time, at that point now, over this weekend, this is what I'm expecting, is that all the altcoins could drop. But in that range, it could be that Bitcoin simply goes sideways and that the altcoins drop. But there's so much pressure on Bitcoin that when the altcoins drop, we could see Bitcoin just move downwards. Not necessarily a drop, but just move downwards. I don't believe it could go lower than that, which is about 10,000 or 9.8 or whatever that figure was. But don't be surprised if it does. But if it does, I don't believe it's going to break this level here, which is 9.1. So yeah, there's a little bit of movement where Bitcoin can still drop lower, But nonetheless, I think all of us, we should expect, just looking at these Elliott waves, what is happening there? Just looking at these Elliott waves that we analyzed, Greg, that we do expect that there could be a drop into these levels here. And we had a look at Litecoin, and we also had a look at Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash. They all indicate that there's one missing leg. Remember this leg that we had here, Greg? That one there? See that one? And we said there. So that leg there is missing. It's like a donkey with 3 legs. We need that 4th leg. Any other questions, guys? Lonnie wanted to ask a question.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, Alan, let's just get Lonnie to ask a question, Alan, and then after Lonnie, then you can go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Alan, just go ahead. I don't see Lonnie here.
Okay. When I'm referring back to when you mentioned there might come a time when you might want to get out of all of your cryptos because you see a big drop coming. In that case, do you recommend or suggest or think it might be a good possibility to move it all into gold and metals, gold and silver? There are several exchanges in Singapore, for example. You can buy gold and silver with cryptos and sell them for cryptos, mostly Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And you know, there is a factor about the spread. You know, when you buy and you sell, there is a spread there that you lose a little bit. But just as a instead of moving it to cash in your bank or the stable coins or those kind of things, because I think gold and silver, I'm not sure if they'll have the same types of moves that cryptos will. Is that feasible?
No, guys. Okay, I won't sell, but let's quickly discuss this. Remember what we said is, and we're talking of stuff in advance again. You know, instead of focusing on where we are right now. But let's say when you get here to this high point here of 18 or 19,000, that's where I said that I'm going to sell every single crypto that I personally trade, my own personal money, because we expect this to come back to around about 13, 14,000, somewhere around there. But what's going to happen here exactly at wherever that high point is, the world stock markets are going to have a speed wobble that's going to drop. Gold is going to stand still and drop. Silver is going to drop. There's some event that we see in our data. What you want to do at that point, you want to sell and either move into cash, US dollar, Australian dollar, wherever you are, or you want to move into a stable coin. You want to sit out. You want to sit out and just watch, because the market will drop. And when it comes back here at the bottom, we will then recommend and say, come back in. And then we head up to 22,000. At 22,000, guys, just hear me correctly. At 22,000, we're going to do, let me just mute everybody here quickly. At $22,000 here, we're going to sell again, because the same is going to happen. There's going to be another drop here. And then on the low point, I think it drops down to, from memory, let me just have a look here. It drops to, I think about 15 or 16,000. So it does this, it does that, 22, it drops here. Yeah, I think it was, more or less, you know. So, and then it goes back up, it does that. Then it breaks through that 22. At that breakthrough, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Fiji. Yeah. So at that,
hey Marius.
So I'm selling here into altcoin, into stable coins. I'm selling there into stable coins twice. And then I get ready to sell there, because if it doesn't break through, guys, we're going to see a big move downwards. Okay, go ahead.
Just a quick follow-up
Marius,
question. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on. You go first, please.
Yeah, so just a quick follow-up here. Just you mentioned that at point 3, the charts show that the Ethereum will actually go up. So you reckon the Ethereum will drop with the rest of them as well?
Where? Yeah, or
At point number 3, where the
there?
yes.
Point number 3. That's where we have the high point. Let's just go back there. Ethereum. No, Ethereum doesn't do that. Remember this. Ethereum is the first coin to break out. We have here is the high point, somewhere around there for Ethereum. Let's just quickly have a look and see what is that. See, Ethereum breaks upwards. It barely comes back. See, that's only about a 40. It could be there. The high point could even be perhaps maybe there. I haven't done a lot of work on Ethereum to see where the high point is, but it should be around about 80%.
So maybe it's a good idea to just move into Ethereum then stablecoin, or you suggest we go to stable coins first?
Oh no, you move into stable coins. Remember, I haven't showed you yet here what is happening at sea.
There it is.
Yeah, so
What?
I'm just going to keep that for future conversation. Yeah, go ahead, TG.
Sorry,
Listen, we just need to follow this line here because the next person is Kevin, and yeah.
I just wanted to ask, what does Fiji mean?
It's a coin that I'm going to buy.
Oh, what?
No, I'm just kidding. Where is that? Fiji.
Yeah,
Man,
what does it mean?
it means I'm going to go to a beach in Fiji and lie there for a week in the sun.
Oh,
Then I'm going to come back because I know that Bitcoin is going to go to 80,000.
right.
Guys, I tell you now, in our algorithm, there's a critical point. It's kind of like, I don't know how to say this, but it's a critical point here that if we break 22,000, there's a level here. I'm saying 22, but if it's close to 20, 21, 22, wherever that high point is, when it comes back and it breaks that high point again, I'm thinking it's going to be 22. If it breaks that high point again, it's kind of like you've hit the line of least resistance, and Bitcoin just explodes. But more on that when it comes, you know. I'm afraid, guys, if I give you too much information, then you're going to cancel your membership. I'm just kidding. No, guys, you really want to keep your membership. You know, I get so many people. You know, they come in for a month, they take a month subscription, then they think they've got all the data, and then they come back the third month again. Oh, and they lost a lot of money. Guys, this subscription is so cheap. Use this data as a guideline. I've always said it. This is not the ultimate data. Use it as a guideline because you're smart, you're clever, you know how to use the data. Most of you, 90% of us here, can do Elliott Wave. You can watch a YouTube video. You can do your own research. Guys, let's quickly get into Kevin. Kevin, we've got Pietra and Frank, Harpreet, Jared, and Ellen.
Hey, Mars. Yeah, I just wanted to find out if you knew, do we know when the USA Binance exchange is going to be up and running?
Wendy, you did some work on that. When do you think Binance will be up and running in the US?
Oh, in the US, I don't know yet.
I think they said it's about a week or so. I don't know. Has anybody got the info? Okay.
Or mid-September or something? Probably.
Yeah, Wendy, can you just answer some of the questions here? I just quickly want to do something. Sorry, guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. But go ahead and ask your question so far.
You just said the tweet, huh?
Okay, guys. Yeah, like I'm going to answer all these important questions, but go ahead. Go ahead. No. Okay, Lonnie, we'll get to your question on KBC shortly. Marius just had to step out for a minute. It's been a long time for him.
Yeah, no bathroom breaks for Marius.
Let's see.
No,
Okay.
I'm not even in the bathroom. I'm somewhere else.
He's somewhere else. It's all good. Sure.
Guys, I know I'm not in the queue, but may I ask a question?
Sure. Go for it.
Okay. Hey, Wendy, it's James.
Hey, James.
I did just want to say thanks to you and Marius just being absolute legends and getting these calls pretty damn close, in my opinion.
They try hard.
Predicting the future must not be easy. But I just tuned in a bit late. Basically, I wanted to ask, if I'm sitting out of the market at the moment in cash, from what I've gathered, there seems like there's a little bit more downside to come. What would be a good indicator that the market's turned around and it's time to get back in?
Green candles.
Price? Lots of green candles.
Yeah, that's usually what I look for. Is the green candle.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look at the indicators, if you're familiar with TradingView, you can look at the indicators. I use 5 myself. I don't use all of the information that Marius uses because I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I know that Marius and the team are looking at this 24/7, and you've seen his charts. I don't do Fibonacci, and I don't do all of the indicators, but I use the top 5. I actually, if I'm going to be looking for the market to turn around, I'm actually looking at the Bollinger Bands. So when the Bollinger Bands start tightening up and then they expand, that they're either going to go up or down as soon as they expand.
Right.
So that's my key that I look at. The minute that the Bollinger starts narrowing and then it expands, I'm watching to see whether it's dropping or going up before I jump in.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, because I'm in a bit of profit now, and I'm going to start to take those profits off the table. So I keep those profits and not lose them like I usually do.
Oh, okay. That's a good thing. We all want to farm for coins. I'll give you a quick little scenario. Maybe that might help everybody on the call. But I had a gentleman ask me in my business. He didn't quite understand how Bitcoin worked, and I'll just share a little story with you. So maybe it might enlighten everybody. But he bought in at the end of 2017 when Bitcoin was up to 19,000. He bought Bitcoin at 15,000. And he was just riding it out because he thought Bitcoin was going to go up and up and up. And then when it started tanking and going down at 19,000, he was stuck in his coin. Is so what he thought. And so I was trying to explain to him earlier this year, okay, when it went down to about 9,000, he wanted to know what to do, and I explained to him that he needed to sell out and get into TUSD and a stable coin at 9,000 because Bitcoin was going to drop to somewhere around the low 3,000. So at that particular time, he started laughing at me and he says, there's no way I'm taking a loss. Bitcoin will eventually go up. I'm going to sit and hold my one little Bitcoin that I paid $15,000 for, and I'm going to wait till it goes up to where Mario says it's going to come up to about 20 or 22,000. And I started laughing, and I said, well, you just don't understand how Bitcoin works and how farming coins work. And he says, well, what do you mean? And I said, okay, well, instead of putting your mind around the dollar value, what you're thinking is if you cash out now at 9,000 because you paid 15, you're going to take thousands in loss at 9,000. But what if you see the real picture? What happens is you get out now at 9,000, Bitcoin drops to 3,000. Now you take that $9,000 that you have and you buy back Bitcoin at 3,000. How many Bitcoins do you now have? You have 3. Now you want to ride Bitcoin up to that $20,000 mark. How much money do you now have with 3 Bitcoin? You now have $60,000, or 20, 40, $60,000. If you decide to stay on your 1 Bitcoin at 15,000 and ride it up and wait, now you've made profit, but how much Bitcoin do you own? You now have $20,000 and you've only made a few $1,000s, you've made $5,000 profit. So if you can understand the farming principle of buying on the low, even though you would have taken a loss and gotten out at 9,000, if you know that the low is going to come in around 3, you've just farmed and you've increased your profit tremendously. So that's my little 2 cents for the day in farming coins, and why you need to not get your head around what you paid for the coin, but you need to get your head around, how do I farm for coins and how do I get more coins that are going to go up? So hopefully that helped. That's my little 2 cents for the day.
Awesome.
Marius
Thanks,
is
Wendy.
back.
Thank you, Wendy.
Great work. I missed some conversations there. Guys, are there any other questions? Somebody wanted to know about Digibyte, so we just go back to Digibyte as well. Guys, Digibyte, I love Digibyte. You know, this coin is going to make us a lot of money here. Remember what we said is that we wanted to see Digibyte go below this level here, below that level there. And it hit this red line. See, almost there, almost there. So we want to see a little bit more downwards movement to this thing, maybe breaking this red line. Then we're going to see an up move here, somewhere around here, and then another drop. Once we see that another drop, this drop will be higher than this one. Guys, it's game over for Digibyte. It's going to go to extreme highs. You know, this 1,000%. I'm just putting 1,000% there. If I tell you what I see in my data, I'm too concerned that I'm not going to give you that figure because you guys will think that I'm just crazy. But Digibyte, it's going to be one of the coins that you want to keep. It's like I tweeted out on Twitter the other day and I said, Digibyte, the trees have been planted. We are now going to reap those trees. It's an old crypto, Digibyte. Many people think it's only a year or 2 years old. It's not. Guys, it's implemented. It's a workable project. We're going to cut those trees, put the planks through the timber facility and sell those planks. You're going to make a lot of money on Digibyte. And the days of 0.01 cent and all that things, it will be over. It will be over. It's going to go to $1 coin and then more. What is the other questions? Can you confirm quickly your
Yeah, good day, Marius. Good day, Marius. This is Harpreet here, mate. Just in regards to NEO, mate. You told us that the highest point for NEO is $850. So whatever the price is, like roughly around $9, it's going to be 100x gain. So what is the strongest reason, in your opinion, for this highest point? Like, is that China's going to adapt it?
One of the reasons is the Chinese adoption. The other reason is all other cryptos in the world starts moving up. But NEO, we see in our algorithm data, moves up a lot higher. A third reason is we were on a call with bankers a while ago. This is probably months ago now. And they were talking of running up NEO to $850. Now, wherever the high point is, in my opinion, in June next year, that is going to be the high point for NEO. But I believe that we could get to $800, $850. Now, the funny thing is we had a figure on our data of $800 before, long before I even heard about this conference call. And I listened to this call and the bankers were talking. On the call were JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Digital Assets, and some other company. I can't remember. And so, yeah, that is the reasons. But
Marius,
also remember this, NEO is worldwide adopted. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
On Digibyte here, with your chart that's up and running right now, are we looking at farming more Bitcoin as it gets into that 30 cent? And do we see these ups and down drops, or are we just holding it till end of cycle?
Which one is that?
Digibyte.
Oh, Digibyte. I don't do farming with Digibyte. Some people do, because you remember it's got these extreme highs, extreme lows. I don't do that yet, but The DigiBuy that I have at the moment, the small amounts, I'm just keeping it, but I'll add to positions very soon. When I add, I'm only going to keep it. You buy and you hold. But you can. At this moment, many people have emailed me, texted me. They are literally farming extra DigiByte. And one guy, phenomenally, you know, he started with $10,000. So somewhere here, would you believe he's got $285,000 worth of DigiByte? That's in a down market. Incredible. He's done so well. He what he's done is focused only on DigiByte. When it's on a low, he sells. When it's on a high, he sells. And he makes that small margin of 5 and 7 and 8%. And he's constantly been doing that. Now, you have to be very, very smart to do that. To be honest with you, I'm not a day trader. I wouldn't even attempt to do it.
Right. It's really tough. I've tried hitting it at the lows in the last couple of days, and I was successful last night, but otherwise it's just so volatile that you just can't really hit those targets.
Not on this. You know, you have to be so smart. This guy is a Forex trader, and I assume he's on the call here today as well. But I wouldn't attempt it, you know. Guys, we do swing trading. This is how Wendy and I have made money in 2016, 2017. I remember, Wendy, when you bought Bitcoin, I don't know if it was in 2017, when Bitcoin hit the first time when it hit, I think it hit 7,000. And over the weekend, you were trying to get money in. You bought at 8 and then 9. And you made money in that swing trade, not by farming, but you kept it. Yes. And it went suddenly parabolic, 12, 14, 17. And that is where you made money. So guys, we are more swing trade. That's where we've made all our money. But if you want to increase your cryptos, I heard you speak about farming for cryptos just when I came back. That's a great idea. You can use, for example, Litecoin. See, this is easy to do. If Litecoin goes down to this bottom point here, you can you can buy. And on the top there, you can sell, but I don't do day trading. Now, this may take about, I don't know, 10, 14 days. So I'm more in that game. I play the swing trade, buy low, sell high, and I just try and repeat it. And the more money you make, it becomes more complicated to do, because you can't sell 10 million on the bottom and think you're going to buy back with 10 million on the top. It doesn't work like that. Your orders just don't get filled. But if you use a percentage of your portfolio, now if you trade with 10,000, you can probably do it. Imagine 10,000 here on the bottom, and you buy at $60. Imagine you come here at the top, you sell at 120. Guys, you've doubled your 10,000. Then you come back and you do the swing trade again on the bottom here, you buy at 91, you ride it up. I can see that we can double our money probably now very quickly in all alts. Follow this pattern. I tell you, follow this pattern of Litecoin. I'm seriously looking at this pattern in the algorithm. If this plays out, guys, I tell you now, if that heartbeat forms, this A, B, C, D, I tell you now, this becomes a certainty. I'm very excited about this. Any other questions?
And Marius, in regards to DGB, right? As you said, it's a dollar coin. Will that be end of this year or the next cycle, like by June 2020?
The cycle high ends in, what did we say there? Where was that?
June
Here
2020.
Yeah, around about year 2020, June, July, somewhere around here. So all these coins, when we talk about the end result, remember this, guys, when you do sports or you're going to run a distance, you want to know what is the end result of the distance that I'm going to run. Is it 10K, 5 miles, 20 miles? If you know it's 20 miles, then mentally you are set up to do it. So in our case, our mile is 350 miles. So we know this is potentially where we're heading to. Now, it may stop earlier at 200,000. It may go higher, 400,000. But at least we've got a goal. Our goal is here somewhere in June, July. Okay, if it comes up earlier, don't hit me on the head. To project something like this way ahead of time, guys, it's a complicated task. So I'm just giving you guys a guideline. So when we talk of end of cycle, we talk now of 24 June. There's a very big probability that this high point here lands on 24 December 2018 for some reason. And then we're all going to have a nice Christmas. And on Christmas Day, the 25th of December, the markets in Bitcoin crashes. And it crashes through New Year's, and it crashes right into 15 January 2020. And then, bang, we have our last leg going upwards. This is why on 24 December, I'm selling, getting out of cryptos, taking a holiday, and coming back on 15 January, buyback. And I'll get into those stuff, guys, when we get there.
Hey, Marius, quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Out of your top 5, if you had to pick one, put new money into for the biggest bang, what would you go with?
I would probably just have a look here at these top 5. Okay, this is not an easy process, guys. Many people have asked me that. Ethereum breaks out first. So you have to play around with this. I'll put money in Ethereum, but as soon as it reaches a certain level, I move it over to Litecoin. But when XRP starts moving, I want most of my money in XRP. It's not an easy thing anymore. Remember what I said in the beginning, that all these coins are starting to separate from Bitcoin? They're doing their own thing. You don't want to miss this big move in XRP because it only goes for 21 days. It only goes for 21 days. So it's so difficult to tell you where to put your money in. For me personally, if you play Russian roulette and you've got a small amount of money, 10, 12, 20,000, I would say split it up in Litecoin and XRP, or Litecoin and Digibyte. You can also use Ethereum. Ethereum for me is a short-term move. Listen, guys, let me just quickly stop the recording. This is the end of the presentation, and we'll go through some more questions. So I'm just going to stop this now. Thank you very much for everybody that has been online.